Hello and welcome, Desert Mountain members, to another edition of the Desert Mountain Podcast. My name is Michael Craven, joined today by Patrick McKenzie. Hello, Patrick.
Oh, hello, Michael. It's a beautiful day on the mountain once again.
It's beautiful, but you do have a sweatshirt on. I have a winter coat on. Everyone here at the table, it's a little chillier than we're used to.
I might have to take this off, though. It's a little warmer in the sun.
And the sun's better. Yeah.
Feels good. Feels good.
We're going to get in here in a minute to why it's so cold, because the other gentleman here might have had something to do with that. But as you can see, this is a new spot for us here on the podcast. We've never done a podcast from here. We're on the croquet lawn over here at the Sonoran Clubhouse. Beautiful location, mountain mallets right in front of us here. No one playing at the moment. If they come, we might have to pack up and go.
I know. It's Racquet Sports Week, right?
Racquet Sports Week.
It is. I saw that question in the Mountain Minute that I think Kim put out there in regards to the number of courts. She left a trivia question in regard to how many courts we have at the Sonoran Clubhouse on Desert Mountain.
Now, have you done your homework? Hopefully you know.
Oh, no, I know how many we've got.
Okay, all right. Now, I know you haven't been here too long, so I'm just making sure.
Well, let's hear the answer.
I got it. Well, we have 15 total. We've got 6 pickleball courts. We've got a grass court. We've got 5 clay courts and 3 hard courts.
He already knows his stuff, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Getting there.
And the man you hear talking right now is Rich Slivocka. This is our new director of Racquet Sports. Welcome to Desert Mountain, Rich.
Thank you. It's been great. I appreciate the opportunity to be on this podcast with you guys. We see a lot of these, through the email change and everything else, and it's exciting to be on. We're excited to have the Rackets department be represented on one of these deals. So it should be great. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we were looking forward to getting you on here, so
good.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Also joining us today, not a stranger to the podcast. Have you done one of these before?
I haven't. This is my first time.
Is your first time?
Definitely not a stranger to the members.
No. But Andrea Crook, Racquet Sports Professional. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you.
Tthank you for being with us.
I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
It should be fun, yeah. Looking forward to it.
Andrea is usually the one who helps us out with a lot of different content if we ever need racket content. So, yeah, I was just thinking you'd been on one of these before, but a couple of newbies over here.
That's right.
We had a great shot of Andrea doing a slow-mo serve in one of the Friday jams. Yeah. That was so cool.
One of my favorite videos.
I would love to see that sometime.
Awesome.
I have to find that one.
Really
We'll bring it up for you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, it has been a little chilly lately, and Rich here joins us most recently from Kansas City, right?
Kansas City, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background, where you were before Desert Mountain, and just kind of how your whole story leading up to where you are now.
Sure. Well, I've been in the rackets industry, at least as far as a teaching pro, for about 27 years. And so the club I was at prior to coming to Desert Mountain was Mission Hills Country Club, and I was there for almost 4 years. We had a huge rackets program, big pickleball program, big tennis program, a lot of ladies teams, very similar as far as the activities that we have at Desert Mountain, but not necessarily on the same scale. Obviously, Desert Mountain being the big club that it is, I mean, everything's a little bit more pronounced, let's say.
Sure.
And so that was one of the biggest things, getting used to that, is just understanding kind of the different mechanisms that go into working in such a big club and things like that. But prior to that, I was at Prairie Dunes Country Club in Hutchinson, and Prairie Dunes Country Club, if the golfers that are probably potentially listening to this would understand what Prairie Dunes Country Club is. It's one of the best golf courses in the country. I think it's rated in the top 25. Very big golf club, national golf club. But I took over there about, I was there for nearly 11 years, and the rackets program was very, very small. And so we introduced pickleball to the club. That was one of the first things that we did, and the rackets. It was just a really good program. I was the director of tennis and fitness there, so it wasn't racket sports per se, but we still had pickleball there. And so just a really good club, but just wanted to try and get into a little bit bigger market in regards to Kansas City, and then also coming here to Desert Mountain now.
Big market now. Welcome to Scottsdale.
Yeah, it's been great.
And is it? Do we have more courts than you're used to, or I know you said some of those.
Yeah. I think the overall court layout, we've got 15 courts here at Desert Mountain, counting tennis and pickleball, and we're also adding 2 more here in August.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. You'll get to be here for construction of a couple new pickleball courts. That's cool.
It'll be great. We've got a lot of good things, I think, happening at Sonora, and I think with the addition of 2 pickleball courts and also the addition of some parking that we're going to be, I think, starting here in the next couple of weeks, I think we've just got a lot of good things happening. The pickleball program has been very vibrant, and we've got a lot of participation, and just like a lot of things on the mountain, there's some capacity issues that we're all trying to deal with. But I think that adding the 2 courts will ease some of that stuff and make it a little bit more user friendly for all of our members. But no, the courts here, having the 3 surfaces on the tennis side of it is awesome. Where I was at before at Mission Hills, we only had hard courts, so to have grass and clay and hard is just completely awesome. It's just one of the best facilities in the country. I also happen to be the USPTA, which is like the PGA for tennis pros, and I'm the national president there. So I've seen tennis and rackets facilities all over the country, and this one by far is if not the best, one of the best in the country, no doubt about it.
How about that?
Yeah,
you heard it right here.
You're the national president of the USPTA.
Yeah.
So members, I'm sure a lot of the racket members already knew that, but for the ones that didn't, I think we got our guy here.
It's kind of a big deal.
Big deal.
Big deal around here. So how did you make your way here though? How did that come about?
It was kind of an interesting deal. So I am fairly good friends with a gentleman named Lynn Samard who works for KKNW, who is one of the search firms that does a lot of the club industry business. And I, to be honest, I really wasn't looking for a job at the time. I was very happy with where we were at in Kansas City. My wife and I just got married in July, so I'm a newlywed still.
Congratulations.
Thank you. She's awesome. She kind of keeps the train on the tracks for us, so which is always good. You got to have that person because God knows it wouldn't be me. So in regards to that, no, but Mission Hills was a great club, but we'd kind of gotten to a point where the staff and I and the team had grown the program to a certain extent, and we were needing more facilities.
Yeah.
And, we were having some landlock issues there, and the club wasn't really willing to partake in a $5-6 million renovation. So at that point there, I kind of had talked to Len a little bit and said, hey, he called me about an opportunity. He goes, I think you'd love it at Desert Mountain. I'd lived in Tucson before, so I was the director of rackets at Tucson Country Club.
Oh, wow.
About 20 years ago. And so I loved the Southwest, and my wife and I had always kind of talked about getting back to somewhere warmer. And I think that's something that, when Len brought the opportunity up, it was something that I jumped at. And then getting here to meet, Arnaldo and then meeting Mr. Diorio, it just became kind of a no-brainer. Having the opportunity to talk to Mr. Diorio and kind of see where his vision is and what his ideas are. Needless to say, I was drinking the Kool-Aid straight away. And so I really enjoyed what he had to say on Arnaldo. And then, the first couple of days meeting the team here and then meeting the members, it's been a great, I'm ending my 7th week, and it's just been a great nearly 2 months. And, we've got a lot of exciting things we're looking to add to the Rackets program. And like I said, we've got a great team and a great membership, and I'm anxious and excited to see where the Rackets program is going to go here in the next couple of years for sure.
Fantastic.
We're excited to have you. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of excitement in the building when you arrived.
Yep.
And I remember, you were walking through the Fairways office and, meeting everybody. And people are really happy to have you here. So welcome.
Thank you.
Andrea, what do you think of this gentleman? No
pressure.
Tell us the real story now.
No, it's been awesome to have Rich to be a part of our team, and he's just integrated so easily, and it's been awesome. I'm really excited for all the programming we have coming up in January, and trying some new stuff with the members and some clinics that we've kind of thought through that are going to be different, innovating, and just exciting. And so I love the energy he brings, and it's just been, I can't wait for what we got for January.
And Andrea, so members are familiar with you, but for those that maybe aren't too familiar, can you give us a little background on yourself as well?
Yeah, so unlike Rich, who's been in the industry for years, as soon as I graduated from college, I started working here. I actually did kind of like an internship I took a gap year because I tore my ACL, and I wanted to keep playing tennis in college, and so I rehabbed it for a year, and I did an internship here for a year. So I've been working at Desert Mountain for a total of 6 years.
Wow.
And then I
She's
graduated.
homegrown.
Yeah. And
That's
then
right.
I got a call, and they were like, hey, we need you ASAP. I was like, okay. So 2 days after I graduated, I came out, and I was in school in Texas. So I came out, and then I've been here ever since. Yeah.
That's incredible.
First job.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
How about that?
I like that the membership, at least we have, someone, a familiar face. You're sticking around. Everybody knows you. You've been here longer than Patrick and I have.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
I know. It feels like we've been here forever.
Yeah.
But.
Andrea and I met, so we had our USPTA World Convention in September. And I think I had just taken the job. I think I just accepted the position. And I hadn't met anybody on the Rackets team yet. I had met Craig Kessler, who's also one of our Rackets pros here, when I was here interviewing, and spoke to him a little bit, but I hadn't really met anybody. And so we were in New Orleans. That's where our World Convention was. And Andrea came up, and we kind of introduced ourselves to each other, and it's been great. Yeah, she does a great job. She does awesome with the ladies and with the programs here, and it's been great to get to know her even more.
And we understand you just recently took a trip.
Yes,
somewhere.
to Honduras, which I grew up in Honduras, so I lived there until I was 15. And then as a family, we decided to move to the States. And, so I took a trip in November.
We're excited about this because we're seeing the pictures roll in.
It's awesome.
You did some amazing work down there. We might even have some Friday Jam content this week about this.
Yeah.
So, I would love to hear about the foundation. Tell us everything. Tell us everything you did down there. Tell us all about it.
Ready? Go.
Okay. So I went to Honduras in November, and the goal was to have a tennis clinic. So let me back up first, though. So my family started a foundation in 2020. So during COVID, both of my grandparents passed away very suddenly, and something that was really important to them was education. And growing up in Honduras, we really wanted to go back and just help different children, because education or sports is very important. Sports got me to where I am right now. It was being a good athlete, but also being a good professional, teaching professional. And so I've always valued the doors that sports can open. And so we went down and we had 755 kids, which is a lot to handle.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And they were from pre-K to 6th grade.
Wow.
And you individually taught every single one
well.
how to play tennis.
Well, I tried to. So I had 6 people who were helping me out. And so we just did some clinic, and we did some volleys with the kids, and then some hand tossing, especially with the pre-K kids, because they could, and the rackets are so cute because they're tiny. And it was the first time that some of these kids had ever even heard of tennis, much less played it. And each of them got to use a racket and hit some balls, and we had a little net. It was all super impromptu and grassroots kind of, but we put up a little net and then just tossed them balls, and they loved it. And we played some games, and some of the videos that I sent you guys there were competing to see who can go through the line the fastest, and it got pretty intense there for a second, but it was so much fun.
Some competitive spirit got brought out a little bit, huh?
Definitely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Honduras, what would you say is the main sport that they play? Is it soccer?
Soccer, definitely.
Football.
Yeah. So the World Cup right now.
Football.
Yeah. Soccer is everything. Mostly boys play sports, so not a lot of girls play sports. It's just different than it is here in the States, and that's changing a little bit. But
thanks
soccer,
to you, hopefully a little bit.
I know.
Absolutely.
But soccer is mostly what kids play. Like I said, mostly boys. And then for a lot of kids, either getting really good grades or just being really good at a sport is what will help them get a scholarship to go to the States and study, or be able to have different experiences that they would never have. Even for I know athletes here in the States, that's a really big deal. But in Honduras, it's huge because it allows you to open your eyes to different things that they would never be able to experience. And I got that chance, and I want others to be able to get that chance as well.
So is this something that's going to be an annual?
I'm hoping.
An annual thing?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Our next trip is in March, and we're still kind of figuring out some of the details of what's going to happen.
And Andrea, when it comes to the foundation, what is the kind of your mission? Do you have a mission statement? And
yeah, absolutely. So our mission statement is that Inspirada, which is the name of the foundation, is a Christian family-run foundation. So it started with my family. And we provide specific, targeted assistance to furthering the health, education, and well-being of the children, specifically of Honduras.
I love it.
That's great. Round of applause, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Awesome work.
You're lucky you don't let
awesome
me on
work.
that deal. I'd be pushing all the buttons.
We've joked around with Todd Bone before. He's a button pusher.
Oh,
He
yeah.
likes
Like,
to
what's
get
this
on
one
here.
do? What's that one do?
That's exactly
What's
right.
this going to do?
Yeah, so we have two different sort of branches of it. We have our scholarship recipients. So right now we have 2 girls in college, 2 in high school, and we have a boy we just picked up who's in his grade. So in 6th grade, he's the best at math and science, and he wants to learn coding, computer coding. And so we just picked him up, and we're going to be sending him to a special school to learn coding. So that's really exciting because you can do that anywhere in the world, right? So you could be coding in Honduras for somewhere in Spain or somewhere in Europe or the States. And there's a lot of really good jobs, and that market's just huge. So we're really excited. We're hoping to get him all the way through college if that's what he wants, and then help him get a job working remotely, because part of what we want is not for people to leave Honduras. We want to help people stay in Honduras and give them a reason to stay rather than just looking for the American dream, so to say. So that's one part of it. And then the other part is a special needs orphanage that we went with kids who have cerebral palsy. And that was just, it's one of the most difficult places to go, but it's also just like, one of the best places. Just to see the joy on the kids' faces is really awesome. So, yeah.
I can't wait to see more of the photos and the videos.
Same here, and we're just so proud to have you on our team. You know, you're out in the world. You're, an ambassador for the foundation, but also an ambassador for Desert Mountain wherever you go. So we really appreciate you being an awesome person.
Thank you.
Andrea Crook, serving up change for the better.
Wow. So
serving up.
Serving.
Yeah,
no pun
intended.
So if the foundation needs a PR guy, Patrick.
Right. Bum.
Patrick's your man.
Where's the sound effect?
Oh, yeah. He might not remember which one it is.
I'm not going to take it. Should I just take a chance?
Sure. Hey, you got it. Okay.
No, but not to make light of what Andrea's done. It's so impressive. I mean, it's just.
I know.
I don't think enough people I know in the tennis and rackets industry don't do that enough, and to see someone really kind of to embrace that and do something like that for her home country and thing like that is very, very moving. And Andrea and I have talked, and obviously being involved with the USPTA, it's something that we're going to publicize also nationally. So you'll be seeing more and more stuff of that, and hopefully we can get a little bit more traction for that foundation, and where we can keep it growing and kind of help the process with everything. So
That's great.
I got my inside man here.
Yeah,
you got
That's fantastic. It's meant to be.
That's right.
It's meant to be.
I love it. All right. Well, now you are back, and I know you did mention before we got into that some of the programming coming up. And so, Rich, you mentioned maybe some changes that you're looking to make, or some some fun initiatives. And you mentioned some of the stuff for January. Before we even get there, there's a couple fun things coming up here in December, right? Like this weekend, I think.
We have. So last weekend we had our ugly sweater tennis mixture. It was great. We had a good turnout. We had a lot of good sweaters. Some very good ones. I had one that was like a jacket with a zip, and then it had a hood, and it looked like a big Christmas tree. It was terribly ugly. It's terrible.
Well, that's what you're looking for.
That was the goal, right? And some of the members like, well, if we could vote, we'd vote for you. And I'm like, you can't vote for me. So had a big star on top. And it's kind of fun to have those events where you just kind of get a little goofy. And so,
well, who won?
Valerie Kowalski won ugliest sweater, and then
give her
a round of applause.
And then did Mick Langtree or Leslie?
Leslie
Langtree got second, and her husband Mick got third.
By one vote.
By one vote, yeah.
It was close.
Mix was good because it had a pocket on it. He's gonna kill me for this. Had a pocket on it where
you
could put a beverage. It may be an alcoholic beverage. It may not be. I don't know. And then also this Friday we've got a pickleball holiday mixer at 2:30. Should be a good event. Just something casual for the members to come out and enjoy. Kind of get together, have some camaraderie. Yeah. We've got some holiday drinks, hot chocolate, things like that, some holiday cookies, just another way for members to get out and enjoy the facility and enjoy each other's company. And then the following Monday, we have the end of season ladies tennis luncheon. So our ladies just finished up their fall season with the ATA. And so we had a bunch of teams play. I think we had over 100 ladies participating in the league, which is great. It's one of our biggest programs here in regards to rackets. Our 5-0 team, captained by Suzanne Hogan and Allison Sachs. I think, won their division. They won the 5-0 division, which is the upper division. So they did a great job. All the teams did fabulous. It was good. We've just got a really good group of players here, tennis and pickleball. So it's been a great 7 weeks for me just to kind of see how everything unfolds. And with the program being very vibrant, it's always tricky to find things to add. And obviously, being here and getting to know the membership and kind of listening to what they need and what they'd like to see a little bit more in the Rackets program is very insightful. And so those are some of the things that we're going to look to add here coming up in January. And so when I do our newsletter coming up this Friday, if I do a weekly newsletter for pickleball and tennis, we're going to outline some of the programs that we're going to be releasing probably the second or third week in January. We're still trying to finagle the schedule a little bit and see where they all fit in, but we're going to give some descriptions of some of the clinics that we're going to run so people can start kind of hopefully getting excited for what we're going to offer. And then in regards to pickleball, the pickleball drop-in play is huge. We've got a lot of groups that are out here playing. Obviously, with the addition of 2 courts coming up for next season, it's obviously a huge part of the activities here on the mountain. But what we're looking to do is we're going to add a couple of other opportunities. We're going to try and work on some ratings clinics. I think a lot of our members, I shouldn't say a lot, some of our members are excited about the opportunity to actually see where they're rated. I think we've got ratings and things like that where they're intermediate or novice, but I think to kind of get a really good grasp of exactly where everyone's going to be, I think, is great. So we've got some of those clinics set up. We've got one set up for January. I think I got the date now. Sorry. January 20th and then February 10th. And so they'll start seeing more marketing and advertising for those events coming up. And then also we're looking to add what we call Duper. And so Duper is like a dynamic universal pickleball rating. And so as a club, you can become a Duper club, and then each member of your club can become and get on the Duper platform. And what it does is every match you play, if you're playing against other people that are Duper, it takes and puts your results into an algorithm and gives you a continuous rating of where you actually stand real time. So it's something I think will be great. I think we're getting to a point now where, those areas, pickleball and tennis, I think are needing a little bit more not organization, but a little bit more step up in what we're doing. I mean, we'd love to have more tournaments here. We'd love to have a club championship for pickleball. We'd love to have a member guest for pickleball. Those are things that we're wanting to add.
Absolutely.
But in order to do those things, we have to have a better understanding of where everyone's rated, because whether we have an A flight, a B flight, an open flight, we need to know where everyone is going to go.
Just take some time to figure that out.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be an evolution. I mean, it's going to be a maturation process on how this goes. And some people are going to love it and some people aren't going to love it, and that's okay. But we want to make sure we're adding as many things as we can to the membership to where they have access to enjoy.
Well, I think it'll be a situation where, you'll have your members that want to be very competitive and want to get into that, and you'll still have your drop-in players who don't have to be involved in that if they don't want to.
100%.
Yeah, I was impressed. Even today where we mentioned it's been unseasonably cool, there's always pickleball players. Yeah. Anybody who drives into Sonoran knows that there's always almost always someone out there playing pickleball. And I know you mentioned before we started chatting, we've had some, issues almost even with some of the grass court and the clay and stuff like that. I think you wanted to give a shout out to some people for helping out.
Yeah, the Mark Clark and his team that he uses for the courts has been outstanding over the last 3 days. I mean, Monday and Tuesday we had just rain on and off all day long, and they, it's such a frustrating deal to go out there and squeegee the courts and get everything ready to go, and then 2 minutes later it's raining again. And so they do a fabulous job trying to maintain the court conditions and everything else. Today was even crazier because, we had rain and we had extreme cold temperatures, and so the courts were essentially frozen this morning. The grass court was completely.
Should have brought my ice skates.
You should have. You could have. You could have ice skated literally on the hard courts today.
Anyone listening from back east, it's incredibly rare. Yeah, this never happens. But you're here and you brought it with you. And that's it.
It's funny. I've had more members kind of fault me for bringing the cold weather in from Kansas City, and I'm like, hey, I came to get out of it too, so I wasn't trying to bring that with me by any stretch of the imagination.
Soon enough, you'll have your 100-day stretch with no precipitation.
I'm sure.
And you being down in Tucson in the past, you know what that's all about.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to a little warmer temperatures for sure.
Well, I mean, unless you guys have anything else, I know one thing I did want to. Well,
sorry.
yeah,
that's okay.
Well,
go ahead.
We didn't really talk about this until right this very moment, but Patrick
I've been itching about it. I gotta ask him.
He's a Kansas City guy
I'm
too.
a Kansas City guy.
Oh yeah.
Are you a Kansas City Chiefs fan?
I am a terribly loyal Kansas City Chiefs fan.
There it is.
To a fault, I'm sure.
To a fault.
We all are.
We lived through some pretty rough years a long time before, Patrick Mahomes came along. I mean, it's been obviously franchise transforming, but we were lucky enough at the club I was at in Kansas City. Patrick was actually a member at Mission Hills Country Club, along with Brett Veach, who I think is the GM, and so our club had a lot of the Chiefs players and
very
front
cool.
office stuff that were members there. So I mean, my wife kind of gives me a little bit of flack. I'm always yelling at the TV on Sundays and everything.
This guy
else.
knows. He sees it from me too. Yeah.
So a huge Chiefs fan. Like I said, we lived through some pretty rough years, but now it's come out the other end. He's been great for Kansas City too. So Kansas City's really lucky to have him. I don't know if I'm sure there's a lot of Buffalo fans, but Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league.
I agree.
I don't care what anyone says.
And podcast.
Well, look, now you got your Chiefs fan, Pat.
I got my Chiefs fan on the mountain.
You know who to come talk to every Monday morning.
I don't have to hear from Todd Bone much anymore.
I'll probably have Buffalo fans knocking down my door on Monday about, hey, no way. So,
and just to piggyback off that, one more Kansas City question. Barbecue, where's your go-to spot?
Great question. So it was called Oklahoma Joe's. Now it's called Kansas Joe's. It's in a gas station, and
we've been there.
Have you really?
Yeah. Yes, Patrick and I have been there. Yeah.
It's the best. I mean, you have Arthur Bryant, and you've got Jack Stack, and you've got all these places, and it's my favorite by far.
What do we have? We had a Z-Man, and
we had a Z-Man sandwich.
God, you guys know about it.
Oh yeah,
we know it.
The burn ends are amazing.
We did we went to Gates. We went to
which one did you guys
Arthur
like the
Bryant's.
most?
I love Joe's, but I love Jack Stack.
Jack
Stack's good too.
The beans are. Woo.
We didn't get to try Q39, which I think is Andy Reid's go-to.
And if you went to Arthur Bryant's, did you go to the first one that they had, the one where it's
did.
Pretty close to Arrowhead.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, just the history and
it's all great.
Else.
But if you're going to compare them, there's always going to be one that's better than the others, right?
Yeah. Joe's is my favorite.
All right,
thank you for joining us on the Kansas City Chiefs podcast.
Yeah, that's right. Kansas City Chiefs podcast. Andrea's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you here, to introduce you to the membership. I think really officially. We like to do a lot of video around here, so hopefully you're up for that. Maybe we can get you into some video content here coming up, and
anytime.
Andrea can tell you all about it.
She's familiar.
She's very familiar.
But absolutely, anytime.
Thank you both for being here so much. We really appreciate it, and we really look forward to a fun and exciting first full year for you here in 2023. And like we said, new pickleball courts, new programming, lots of things to be excited about.
Sounds great. Yeah, no, appreciate it. We loved being on. It was great. We had a great time.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
All right.
Members, until next time, see you around the mountain.